Okay, chapter 3. This is literature review part 2. So this is a continuation from the previous slides, which is the last week, which is part 1. Okay, part 1 we do cover in terms of the source of literature, okay, and also several citation styles that you can use. Okay, now for this week, we are going to continue, but we will focus on how to avoid plagiarism. So there are several ways, which is to paraphrase, to quote, to paraphrase, and also to summarize. Okay, so these are the important things that we are going to cover today. Okay, citing literature. So this is a recap from previous lesson. So when citing literature, the citation must be included in the text and in the reference. So what is in the text and what is in the reference? Okay, this we will show you after the slide. Okay, now the following two slides are examples of literature citations for APA and IEEE styles. Okay, this is an example of what we call in the text citation or in-text citation. Okay, citation in the text. Okay, what does the text mean? If you have your research proposal, this is in the section. Okay, meaning that where you actually describe your introduction, your background, okay, your problem statement, that is in the text. Okay, and this is the example that I have included in the previous week. Okay, and this is using the APA citation style. Okay, and you can see that I have actually used a different color for the name of the author and the year of the literature. Okay, you can see Ahmed and Hasegawa. This is the author. There are two authors for this, and this is 2014. And we have another one, Rajendran, Velumutu, and Divya. Okay, three authors, and the literature is dated in 2010. So this is example in the text. This is citation in the text. Okay, another form is we can see that citation in the reference. Okay, the reference normally is at the back, okay, at the last part of the research proposal. Or if you are writing a thesis, the reference is the last chapter. Okay, meaning that after conclusion, then you have the reference. So that is actually in the reference. So meaning that there are two parts when you cite. One is in the text, one is in the reference. Okay, now here in this slide, I put everything just top and bottom in one slide just to show you, but this is actually different places. But if you have a look, you will notice that in citation, we use the name of the author as a surname. We use a surname. We do not use the full name. For example, let's say we have Ahmed. Ahmed is the surname. Hasegawa is the surname. Okay? Okay, if my name, for example, is Shamsul Anwar Mokhtar, Shamsul Anwar is actually my given name, and Mokhtar is actually my father's name. But of course, Malaysian, we do not have family name, but we use the father's name. Okay, so basically, if I am to publish, okay, certain papers or articles to international publication, they will refer to me as Mr. Mokhtar. So, which is my father, but that is considered the surname. So basically, you need to put in the surname. Okay, you will notice here that in the blue, there is a mapping. You see that you have Ahmed, you have Hasegawa in the reference, and also you have in the text Ahmed Hasegawa. Okay, the blue one. And we have the year. The year is 2014. Okay, similarly, you will find the second one. We have Rajendran, Velumutu, and Divya. Meaning that you can see the mapping from in the text and in the reference. And you have the year. Okay, now, in the reference, in general, okay, we will actually mention the name of the authors, the year of publication. Okay, you see the ones in the red, that is actually the title of the article. Okay, if this is a book, then it is the title of the book. Okay, now this is the title of the article. This is actually journal article. Okay, you have the italicized text, that is the name of the journal, and in the green, okay, that is actually the volume, the issue, and the pages. Okay, so this is actually example. You have one is in the text and one is in the reference. Okay, now this is APA system. So basically, in many ways, if you are using a citation tool, then these things will be much easier for you. For example, in the reference, you do not have to think of, okay, what is the format like, because if you use the tool, the tools actually will do it for you. Okay, so this is APA. Okay, we have another one. We have IEEE. Okay, why do we have both types? Okay, APA basically, in UniKL, in the context of UniKL, okay, for BSE students, you are recommended to use the APA style in your thesis, okay, in your proposal, and so on. Okay, now for IEEE, so basically, if you in this field, if you are in computer science, if you are in electronics and so on, software engineering, so basically, if you publish to a conference to a journal, so many of them uses IEEE. So that's why I would like to show both. Okay, because these are both applications of citation styles, which I hope that you can actually have knowledge. I wouldn't say master, because master is a weak word, but at least you know how to do it. Okay, now you will notice that for IEEE, we do not use the author names in the text. There's no author name here. See, it's just numbers. There is a parenthesis or a bracket, but the bracket is like a square bracket, and there is numbers 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay, now this is in the reference. So in the reference, you will notice that we refer, okay, a particular literature based on the numbers. For example, if the for example, the number 1 in the text, there is number 1 in the reference. You see, number 2, and so on. Okay, we do not refer based on the name of the authors, but we use the numbers 1, 2, and so on. And you will notice also in the reference, the structure is a little bit different. The use of certain symbols and so on different from APA. Okay, we will cover this in more detail in the following slides. Okay, after this. Okay, now, okay, when you cite a literature, okay, so citing in the reference is very much standard for each specific type of source. So in general, if you are actually using a certain citation style, for example, let's say APA, okay, basically if if you use a citation tool, okay, then there's no issue. So basically, whatever that the citation tool produces, then that is correct. So you don't have to think about this. Okay, and so it says here it can be easily generated by using a citation tool. Okay, however, citation in the text is a little bit more complicated, as there are several variations on how to cite. Okay, there are several ways of doing things. Okay, now the issue is that in some variations, the citation tool cannot be used to generate the citation in the correct format, and therefore must be included manually. Okay, now the problem with what I experience, okay, when I deal with students and even lecturers, okay, so basically they actually rely 100% on the tool. Okay, but in certain format, if you use the tool in the text, it can be the wrong format. Okay, so what we are going to do today is I'm going to teach you how and what is the correct way, and how should you use the tool, when should you use tool, and when you should not use the tool. Okay, so this is what we will cover today. So my focus will be on the in the text. Okay, citation in the text. In the reference, I will not cover much because it is 100% can be, you can rely on the tool. Okay, now citing literature in the text. Okay, there are three ways of citing literature in the text. The first, we call it quoting. Okay, quoting comes from the word quote. Secondly is paraphrasing, or from the word paraphrase. And number three is summarizing, from the word summarize or summary. Okay, now we will show you all these three. Now, within this quoting, paraphrasing, and summarizing, now you can do it parenthetical or in narrative. Okay, so what are parenthetical and narratives? So I need to show examples. Okay, here examples of both parenthetical and narrative in-text citation will be shown when discussing quoting in the following sites. Okay, because I will cover to show what's the difference. Okay, now the first one is quoting. Okay, again, why do we need to cover this quoting, paraphrasing, and summarizing? Because if you copy and paste, then automatically it will be what we call plagiarism. Plagiarism, okay, is like a big sin, dosa besar, okay, in actually writing an academic paper. Okay, so now let's go for quoting. Okay, now quoting means repeating or copying out words from a text or speech written or spoken by another person. Okay, now this includes the exact spelling and interior punctuation of the borrowed words. And there are two types of quotes, which is regular quotes and block quotes. Okay, let us go one by one. Okay, now what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you first APA, and then I'm going to show you how we do it in IEEE. Okay, now for the first one, we have what we call regular quotes. Now this is I'm showing you here is using the APA style. So in APA, regular quotes are used when the quote is less than 40 words. Okay, less than 40 words. Example. Okay, now this example is what we call parenthetical. Parenthetical. Okay, I will describe what is the parenthetical type here. Okay, now let's say I have one sentence. Now this one sentence, okay, I write this sentence. okay, be in an article. Let's say the sentence is the phrase goblet of motivation. So goblet of motivation is actually the quote, meaning that this is exactly the term that is used. The phrase goblet of motivation is associated with the fictional Harry Potter character. Now, the quote is here. You see Macpherson. Macpherson is the author, comma. Then we have 2007, meaning that the article was published in 2007, comma. And we have P is page 71. Okay, so for a quote, okay, normally the use of quote must be very selective. So you cannot actually quote everything. It must be very selective. Okay, for example, I give you one quote, a very popular quote. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That is a phrase. Why? Who said that? Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali. So normally, quote is something that is associated with someone says something special that we want to preserve the actual words. For example, another one for those who are football fan, English Premier League football fan. Okay, someone once said, "I am the special one." That is a quote. I am the special one. Actually, that was said by Jose Mourinho. Okay, once a manager. Okay, a great manager. Okay, so basically, that is a quote. So in because it is less than 40 words, if you want to retain the actual words, special words, you need to put in the quote sign, okay, the double quote, the opening quote and close quote. Okay, and if you need to actually put in the page number, so if the article there is a page, then what page is that? This is page 71, P.71. Okay, this is considered parenthetical because you see that Macpherson 2007 and P71, we encapsulate everything with a parenthesis or a bracket, and this is separate from the sentence itself. So what do you mean? What do I mean by separate from the sentence? For example, let's say that if I delete the ones in blue, okay, we have Macpherson 2007 and P71, we delete everything, you will find that the phrase goblet of motivation is associated with the fictional Harry Potter character. Full stop. That is a complete sentence. So meaning that we are saying that this sentence referring to Macpherson 2007, this is separate. This is called parenthetical. Okay, another one is what we call a narrative. Okay, a narrative is that the author name or information is part of the sentence. For example, here. Now, the same thing, but the way that we write it differently, we have Macpherson. See, we see Macpherson. Then there is a bracket 2007. Associates the phrase goblet of motivation, bracket P.71, page 71, with the fictional Harry Potter character. So meaning that, you see that the Macpherson is part of the sentence. So if, for example, the ones in blue, I delete the ones in blue. So what will happen? It becomes associates the phrase goblet of motivation with fictional Harry Potter character. And you see, we start with associates. because we have deleted Macpherson. So meaning that that sentence is not complete, is incomplete. So when you add the citation Macpherson 2007, okay, as part of the sentence, that is what we call narrative. If it is separate, similar to the first example, that is parenthetical. Okay, so basically both ways are acceptable. Okay, some will mix things up, some will just stick to one type. It's up to you. Okay, so basically it's good to mix things up so that your writing is not boring. But you can see that there are two different ways of writing. One is parenthetical and one is we consider narrative. So this is example of parenthetical and narrative, and this is for what we call regular quotes, which is quote that is less than 40 words. Here we have 3 words. Okay. Any question on this? Is it clear? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, let us go to next slide. Okay, no, not next slide. We have another one. Okay. What happens is if uh the article, okay, there's no page, meaning that there is no page. For example, you refer to a website. A website does not have page. Okay, you will scroll down, 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 down. There's no page, but there are sections. So if you quote from a non-paginated material without page, okay, you do not put in the page number, but you put in the section number. For example here, okay, this example I use a narrative, but parenthetical is similar, but this is a narrative. Let's say Mohtar 2007. Okay, that is me. I am Mohtar now. In publication I becomes my father's name. Okay, so Mohtar 2007 stated. Okay, this is the in red. That is actually the code. Okay, but here because there is no page, there's no page, but I put in conclusion section. Okay, if there is a section, the name of the section is conclusion. So conclusion section, comma, in the section there are many paragraphs. So let's say this is paragraph 6, para.6. So basically if there is no page, okay, it is you try to put in what section, if there is a section. Okay, what is the name of the section, comma, what is the paragraph in the section, because basically normally in a section there will be many paragraphs. So what is the number of the paragraph? So basically there's no numbering, you count first, second, third, and so on. Let's say this is number 6. Okay, so this is actually if you want to quote a regular quotes from a material that has no page. Okay, now this is a quote from non-paginated material. Okay, now the same example. Okay, let us go for IEEE. Now the definition of regular quotes in IEEE is slightly different. Okay, in IEEE, regular quotes are used when the quote is in 1 or 2 lines. Okay, we don't talk about the number of words. In APA, less than 40 words. 40 words or less, okay? In IEEE, 1 or 2 lines. Okay, for example, now the same one, example, here we have the phrase, this is parenthetical, okay, but now the only difference is that here, we do not use Macpherson 2007. But let's say that in the reference, citation in the reference at the back of the your text, okay, at the back end. So let's say we refer this particular article with number 3. So what we do is that we have square bracket 3. So 3 is reference to the article, comma P.71. So the reference number 3 page 71. Okay, see, this is IEEE. This is parenthetical. Okay, what about narrative? Okay, yes, we can actually use narrative in IEEE. How we do it is that, for example here, let's say the author name is Macpherson, is one person. So Macpherson associates. You see, Macpherson, there's no year here because the year, the bracket year, that is APA. But IEEE, we do not put in the year. So we say Macpherson, the name of the author, associates the phrase goblet of motivation. Okay, here we have a square bracket. We have the 3, comma. 3 is to refer the reference number 3, comma, P.71 here. After the phrase goblet of motivation. Okay, so you can see this is the difference between APA and also IEEE. Okay, and if you have a quote from a non-paginated material, okay, similarly, we have Mokhtar stated. Mokhtar is the author. Mokhtar stated, the rubric tool reduces the element of subjectivity in a survey questionnaire. Okay, now at the end of that, we put in, let's say this is 4. Let's say for Mokhtar, this is reference number 4. So we have square bracket 4, comma, conclusion section. Let's say we take this from the conclusion section, comma, para.6. This is paragraph 6. Okay, you will notice that you see that when you have the quotation at the end, okay, sorry, the citation, the bracket, the full stop is is after the one, okay, not before. Okay, so meaning that 4, comma, conclusion section, comma, para 6, okay, close bracket, then only then you have full stop. Okay, only then you have full stop. So this applies to IEEE and also APA. Okay, any question on this slide? Okay, so hopefully that when I explain, but I'm sure that for you to be able to really understand, you need to actually practice this. Okay, when you do it, then you will actually have experience, and you can always refer to the slides. Okay. Okay, now another type of quote, the second type of quote is what we call a block quotes. Okay, block quotes in APA, so this is the first one, APA, are used for quotes of more than 40 words. More than 40 words. Okay, so for block quotes, we do not use quotation marks, but we indent in a block. Okay, example. Now, this example is parenthetical. Okay, this is parenthetical, how we write a block quote parenthetically. Okay, let's say we start off, okay, let's say smaller higher education institutions HI in Malaysia face challenges in adopting academic accounting. It is stated. Now, the ones in red, okay, the ones in red, this is the part that I copy and paste, meaning that I retain everything from the word, from the comma, full stop, and even if there is spelling error, spelling mistake, you still have to actually retain the spelling mistake. Okay, that is code. So, but now this is a block code because it is more than 40 words. This is, I think, I do not know, but I think this is many words. This is more than 40 words. How I do it is that I put everything in a block. So meaning that what we do is that we indent inside, indent into inside. Okay, and at the end, you see, the ones in red, you see, the full stop, say, the last line, between the large and the small HEIs in Malaysia, full stop. Then we put in Mokhtar, this is the author, comma, 2007, this is the year, comma, P.236, page 236. Okay, you will notice that the citation, the bracket, is after the full stop. Okay, if you use a regular code, now let me go back just to show you. See, this is a regular code. The full stop comes last, so meaning that the citation, then full stop. But for block code, you have full stop, then there is citation here. So citation is outside the full stop. Okay, so this is actually example of a block code in APA. Okay, now please, I color this red, but in your proposal, please do not color this red and blue. Okay, in this slide, just to show you the difference, okay, because I want to show the ones in red, the block one, this is the actual things that I quote from the material, word by word. Okay, just to show. The ones in blue is the citation, so that you can see the difference. Okay, now this is block quotes in APA. This is parenthetical. Okay, for narrative, this is narrative, the same block code, but here the difference is that you can see that you have Mohta. Okay, in the sentence above we have so and so, and then Mohta 2007, Mohta bracket 2007 stated. Okay, now the red ones is the actual code, and at the end there is the page. Okay, P.236, page 236. You see that the page and the year and author year is split. Okay, is split. Okay, one at the beginning, one at the end. Okay, if you compare back, let's say this is narrative, the parenthetical, you can see that Mohta 2007 and P236 is actually combined at one place. Okay, so this is the difference. Okay, this is parenthetical, this is narrative. So both are acceptable, so you can choose either one if you choose to do a block code. But again, when you use a code, regardless of whether it's regular code or block codes, there must be some good reason for you to add. Okay, because basically normally it must have a good reason for you to retain word by word what the person has said about something. Okay, so this is for APA. Now for IEEE, okay, the definition of block codes, okay, is not using words, but it is 3 lines or more. 3 lines or more. Okay, just now we have the regular codes, 1 or 2 lines. Here, 3 lines or more. Now, the same example here. This is parenthetical. So, you can see that, let's say that the citation number for this one is number 5. Let's say this is reference number 5. So, here I put in at the end, you see, after the full stop, the square bracket 5, comma, P.236, page 236. So, reference number 5. Okay, this is parenthetical. Okay, now the narrative, okay, you can put in Mohta stated. Mohta is the author. Okay, but at the end, you can see it's not just P.236. You have still to put in the 5 here. 5, comma, P.236. Although this is narrative. So this is how it is written in IEEE. Okay. Any question on the block codes? Okay. Okay. Now this is the first type. Okay. You can code. So when you code, there are 2 types of codes. One is regular code. One is block code. Regular code. What is regular code? Regular code normally is short codes. Okay. So in APA, it is considered less than 40 words or less. Okay, in IEEE, it is considered 1 or 2 lines of code. So meaning that in general, it is a short code. Okay, so that is a code. Okay, now the second way for you to do it is by what we call paraphrasing. Paraphrasing. So basically, paraphrasing is actually the most common way for you to cite your material. The most common way. And we expect this kind of way, paraphrasing, to be the majority of citation that you have in your work. Okay, what does paraphrasing mean? So paraphrasing means that you express the author's information or ideas in your own words, meaning that you retain the idea of the original author but using your own words, and then you give the person, the author, credit for that information or idea. Okay, for example, let's say that the Prime Minister said something, one sentence. I have something the Prime Minister said. Now, I want to say it using my own words, but retaining the important points, the important information in the sentence, but using my own words. That is considered paraphrasing. Okay, now, changing a few words here and there is still considered plagiarism, even if you do cite the author. Okay, so in writing, meaning that it is not sufficient to change a few words, which is actually a normal mistake that students do. Okay, now I'm going to show you an example of paraphrasing. Okay, and for this example, paraphrasing, now it is same for APA or IEEE. Okay, basically the only difference is how you cite the bracket, but in terms of the paraphrasing itself is the same. Okay, now the examples after this, I'm going to show you using the APA style. Okay, let's say that I'm going to take a passage from a book. Okay, now this is a book, ASP.NET Programming with Visual C# and SQL Server. The author is Don Goslin. So this is actually the book that I used to teach ASP.NET for those who are actually in my class previously. Okay, I'm using this as one of my reference. Okay, this is a book that I have. So I screen capture, not screen capture, I take the picture. So this is the cover of the book. Okay, now in the book, there is one sentence that I want to actually paraphrase. Okay, here, okay, I write an example of an original passage is as follows. So this is actually a block code. Okay, now the block is in 1990 and 1991, Tim Berners-Lee created what would become the World Wide Web, or the web, at the European Laboratory for Particle Physics, or CERN, in Geneva, Switzerland, as a way to easily access cross-reference documents that existed on the CERN computer network. And because this is a block code using APA, so you see after the full stop, I have the author's name, Goslin, just the surname, the family name, comma, 2010. This book is published in 2010, comma, P3. P3 meaning that page number 3. So this is one sentence, word by word. Okay, what word by word? Okay, this one. Okay, how do we paraphrase? Meaning that we want to actually say the same thing about this, but using our own words. So if you copy and paste everything and you put this in your proposal or in your thesis, 100% they will consider this is plagiarism. Although even if you put Goslin, this is plagiarism. But here, because it's not plagiarism for me, because this is a block code. But let's say you want to paraphrase. Because again, like I say that you shouldn't use everything because you are lazy. Everything you use a code, because then that is not proper. Okay, so this is a block code. Now, how do we paraphrase? Example. Okay, one way that many students do, okay, many students do is that to come up with something different, this is one way that they do it. Okay, you see that this particular sentence, this one sentence is the same sentence from this one. This is the same one in 1990 and 91 until on the CARN computer network. So this is the same one. Okay, what some students do, or perhaps many students do, when they try to paraphrase, they try to actually omit, delete some words, and they try to replace some words with something that is with the same meaning. Okay, let's say I show you this example. Let's say that this is someone did this. Okay, what that someone does is that, okay, see the in 90 and 91. So this is not important. Let's say delete this. So let's say we strike this out. We don't want to use it. Okay, who is the person? Tim Berners-Lee. Okay, let's just take the surname Berners-Lee. Tim is okay, just Berners-Lee. Okay, we actually strike out Tim. Okay, created. Okay, let us replace with another word. Created, develop. Okay, we replace created with develop. See, what would become? It's not important. Let us delete this one. Okay, we retain the World Wide Web or the web. Okay, this is redundant. Let's say let us strike this out. We don't want to use this. At the European Laboratory for a Particle Physics, CERN. So now this is important. You cannot replace it with anything because this is a special name. You cannot replace this. Okay, now in Geneva, Switzerland. Let's say we just say in Switzerland, Geneva. We strike this out. Okay, as a way. Okay, this is not important. Let's say just strike this out. Okay, to easily access cross-reference documents. Okay, that existed. Okay, we strike this out on the CERN computer network. Okay, let's say someone does this. And what we have here, once we have done this, you see that Berners-Lee developed the World Wide Web at the European Laboratory for Particle Physics, CERN, in Switzerland to easily access cross-reference documents on the CERN computer network. Okay, it is cited to Gosselin, 2010. Okay, now this is an attempt to paraphrase by deleting, omitting certain words and replacing some words. Now, is this an acceptable paraphrase? Is this acceptable? Okay or not? This one. So the answer, not acceptable. So this is unacceptable. Okay, now what I'm showing you here is something that many students do this when they actually try to paraphrase. We say that use your own words. Use your own words. Take the important idea, information, use your own words to describe things differently. So this is what they did, and this is unacceptable. Okay, how do we know? How can we check whether this is unacceptable or not? Okay, for someone like me who are experienced, okay, in this, okay, just by looking at this, I know that this is unacceptable. But of course, there must be some other ways out of experience, rather than experience. So there is a tool. There is a tool. Okay, now this tool, actually there are many tools on the internet. Okay, but I'm going to actually introduce to you one free tool. Okay, some tools, okay, although they say they're free, once you do it, you use it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, then they say, okay, you have exceed your limit. You have to perhaps purchase this one, the premium one. That is a problem. We also have something UniKL asked to do. Use the turn in it, turn in it, TURNINIT. Okay, however, that requires user account, and although they give it to you, but when we have so many students trying to use it, then we have problem. It exceeds the limit of the account. So basically what I'm going to give you is something that is free, and based on my experience, there's no limit to this. Okay, the only thing is that you can check the plagiarism based on something that can be accessible on the web, or if the material is not on the web, or perhaps in a journal that cannot be accessed by this particular tool, then it cannot check. Okay. Okay, so basically now what I'm going to recommend to you to do is that to use this particular online plagiarism checker. The address is at plagiarismdetector.net. Okay, plagiarismdetector.net. So if you go to this particular page, you will get a lot of advertisement, unfortunately, because it's free, right? A lot of advertisement. But if you go and scroll, do not confuse yourself. Go and scroll. You can see that there is this part. There is a part where enter text here to check plagiarism. So meaning that you can copy and paste from your Word document, or even from PDF or whatever from website. Okay, when you actually try to do your plagiarism, plagiarism. When you try to actually paraphrase your work, now copy and paste your work into this part. Okay, paste here. Then there is two buttons here. We have check plagiarism, check grammar. So you can actually check your grammar. Okay, you can actually check your grammar. Okay, but what I'm concerned in this particular lesson is check plagiarism. You copy here and click this check plagiarism, and you wait for a while, and it will give you the result whether your work they can detect to some materials on the internet or not. So that is how they do it. So, meaning that this tool is not perfect, but it can be useful to you to check your own work, whether does it comply with the plagiarism checking or not. Okay, so on this page, so once, let's say you put something, let's say I copy and paste the ones just now. Okay, this one, okay, the Berners-Lee developed until the end, this part. I copy and paste this here, and I click check plagiarism. So the actually online checker will give your report. For example, here, this is the report that you will get. For example, this is, you see this one in the pink, Berners-Lee developed and so on. This is the ones that we copy and paste into the text box. And once it process, you can see that, see, this is the result, 0% unique, 100% plagiarized. 100% plagiarized. So meaning that it can be between 0 and 100. Depends on how much, based on what they can compare on the internet. So if the material that you take is not on the internet, then you are safe. But if it is on the internet, there is a risk that they can detect this. So you see, this is 100% plagiarized. Okay, this is from the side, and you can actually, you see here on the button on the left bottom, you have download report, download word report, start a new search. Okay, if you click this download report, it will produce this report in PDF form. In PDF form. Okay, if you want to actually check a new text, you can click the start a new search. So meaning that you want to copy and paste again, reprocess again, click this start a new search. Okay, now what I have done is that normally this is shown on the website itself. So normally I want a PDF report. I want a PDF report if I am to submit something. Okay, so we actually click this download report on the green ones. Okay, okay, on this one. So basically, this is the report that you will get. So this is in PDF. So I copy, screen capture the PDF. So this is the plagiarismdetector.net scan report. Okay, here we have like 100% plagiarized. 0% unique. These are the number of words and characters. Okay, for the free version, this one, you are allowed until 1000 words. So meaning that still I think it is good enough. 1000 words, you can do it many times, a few times. Okay, 1000 words. Okay, now you can see that there is this report, the PDF report. Okay, so this is 100% plagiarized. So this is in PDF. Okay, what's the purpose of this report? Okay, basically for your assignment, I would require you for your in your research proposal, you have part 1 is the introduction, you have the project background, and you have the problem statement. The first 3 parts of your research proposal, normally there will be citations. So what you need to do is that you need to generate a report, check on the plagiarism. Okay, so you need to go, you can try section by section. If, okay, for example, introduction, if introduction is not 1000 words, okay, then that would be useful. That would be useful. But if it is long, then you can actually do it paragraph by paragraph. But you need to produce this report. Okay, for the first, actually for introduction, for background, and for problem statement. Okay, you need to produce that, and you need to submit the report together with the research proposal. Okay, now this is, you see, 100% plagiarized. Okay, now, so the ones that we have done is no good. So let us look again. How do we paraphrase this one? Okay, now this is the original text. I just copy again this one, the same ones just now. Okay, now this is an example of acceptable paraphrasing. Okay, now the ones in the green, okay, the words in the green are new words that do not exist in the original passage. For example, here, you see that it's very different, but it retains the same meaning. Let me read this for you. To achieve easy access of cross-reference files on the computer network at the European Laboratory for Particle Physics, CERN, in Switzerland, Tim Berners-Lee established the World Wide Web there in the early 1990s. Okay, it retains the main important content of the original passage. And you will notice that it's not just some words are replaced, but even the sentence structure is different. The sentence structure, you see, here we start off with to achieve easy access of cross-reference here, but you can see that in the original passage, easy access is at the end. This one is at the beginning. So this is actually how you do paraphrase. First, you look into the words, of course, if you can replace some words. And secondly is that even the sentence structure also, you may have to actually change accordingly. Okay, now perhaps this is like, say, you are a professor, you can do it, but this is actually something that you need to learn. This needs experience, and you need to be able to think. Okay, so this is actually acceptable paraphrasing. This is acceptable. Okay, how do I know this is acceptable? Because I'm going to test this using the tool. Okay, now this is the plagiarism scan report. Okay, now you see that 100% unique. 100% unique. Meaning that although we change things, the content does not change. It retains the same original meaning, but it is considered unique. So meaning that if you go to the report, there's no plagiarism. 100% unique. You can see that this is the difference between the first example and the second example. And of course, I understand that this is a challenge, not just for undergrads, even for postgrads. Someone doing PhD also have this problem. But these are the things that I hope that you can learn. This is what we call paraphrasing. Okay, any question on this paraphrase and how to use this report? Any question? Anyone?
Sir,
Yes.
uh, for the plagiarism, it must be 0%, or
Okay.
let's say if we have 10% detected.
Okay. Normally kan, normally in a thesis they allow 30%. In a thesis they allow 30% plagiarize. It's difficult to get 100%, but uh, you need to target for 30%, 30. So meaning that 30% plagiarize, 70% unique. 70% unique. Okay, so basically, if you go to some publication, okay, if you publish in article in journal, you need to achieve 10% plagiarize, 10%. Okay, now for a thesis, so I expect for you to try to get 30%. 30%. Okay, meaning that 30% or less. So for this proposal, for your assignment, my expectation is try to get 30%. But if, for example, you cannot get 30%, let's say you get 50%, then I will accept your work. I will accept your work 50%. Okay, but of course the marks will not be the maximum that you can get. Okay, there will be reduced marks. Okay, uh, if like you get less than 30%, 30% or less, then I consider this is very good. Okay, 100% is excellent, basically. Okay, but if you get more than 50%, I consider that as plagiarism, because this is for you. You are a beginner, so I allow 50%, but 50% still I will reduce marks. Okay, if you get more than 50%, there's no marks, almost no marks. Okay, so you will lose your marks because I consider that as plagiarism. Okay, so please try your best to get, uh, if you cannot get 30%, try to get 50%. Maximum 50% plagiarism if you can. Okay, but of course try to get 30%. Okay, any question on this? And I want everyone to use this plagiarism detector.net. Okay, although there are some other tools, but because for my class, I want you to use this tool, okay, and to generate the report based on this, because we can see that there is the content and so on. So you will submit the PDF report to me together with your proposal. Okay, any question? Okay, now let us move to the third type. The next,
One,
yes.
sorry. For the paraphrasing part,
Okay,
like if
can you repeat
can you hear,
again? Is breaking out because I can't really hear your what you said. Please repeat
can
again.
you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Now.
thank you. Um, for the paraphrasing part, if we don't change the sentence but we change most of the words in that sentence, does it still count as paraphrasing?
Yeah, I think can you repeat again, because when you speak, suddenly the volume of your voice suddenly goes down to the extent that I cannot grab what you are saying. Can you please repeat this again? Sorry.
Okay. I'm sorry, doctor. Sorry. Hello, hello, hello.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. For the paraphrasing part, if we don't change the sentences, the structure of the sentences, but we change most of the words in that sentences, does it still count as paraphrasing?
It counts as paraphrasing if we scan this, and the paraphrasing would be actually like I say, when once we, for example, your work, I expect if there are, let's say, introduction, let's say I take it, introduction. In introduction, let's say you have 3 paragraphs. Copy the whole 3 paragraphs and paste this into this tool, or perhaps you want to do it paragraph by paragraph for you to check paragraph by paragraph. So if actually you find that it is 30% and above plagiarism, now this is like 0%. If 30% above, it is still considered plagiarized, but for the purpose of this assignment, I can accept that 30% until 50%. 50% until 50%. Okay, so anything above 50%, I consider this is plagiarism. I give a 0 for that part. I give a 0 without even reading it. Okay, so it does not matter whether, if you, even if you change the whole thing, all the words, when you actually scan, does it give the percentage of plagiarism less than 30% or 50%? That's the case. It is not about just to change. So if, for example, you change all the words, but you do not change the sentence structure, then it achieves, like say 30%, then that is good enough. That is good enough. You do not need to achieve like 0%. There's no, it's not like you have extra mark because you get 0% compared to 30%. So if you have 0% and 30%, for me, I consider that is the same. In terms of plagiarism, that is the same level. But from 30% and 50%, I see this is different level. Meaning that 50% is less, 30% is better. But if you have 30% and you have 0%, I consider 0 and 30 is the same. Okay, that is like a pass. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether, if you think that you do not change the sentence structure, just changing the words, you will achieve that, say 30% or less, then that is good, no problem. Okay, you can try that. That's why when you do it, you actually scan paragraph by paragraph. You see, for this paragraph, does it comply with this plagiarism? So this example, I actually scan the sentence itself, which is actually more difficult actually. So take it paragraph by paragraph. So do I answer your question?
Yes, doctor. Yes, prof. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else want to ask about this plagiarism and paraphrasing and so on? Okay. Yes.
Excuse me, Prof.
Yes.
For example, if saya cakap biar boleh tak?
In English, please.
Oh, in okay.
Yeah.
Let's say if I refer to one journal article,
Okay.
and the writer of the journal refers to one like kenyataan rasmi in the language used is in BM.
Yes.
So the writer of the journal paraphrase using his own words.
That
words.
is translation.
So can I paraphrase the writers the writer of the journal and quote that and quote that in writers kenyataan apa tu, kenyataan rasmi in BM tu.
Okay, so basically, normally, if actually, for government documents, okay, although the official statement is in Malay, normally you will find a version in English. Normally you will find a version in English. Because Malaysian government, if you are talking about Malaysian government, so there is always an English version. Okay, but yes, sorry, because of there is an ambulance. Okay, so basically, yeah, if that is the original statement is in Malay actually, for example, and in the article there is like a translation. Okay, the statement has been translated in English, so you cite the article. Okay, you cite the article. So normally the citation would be in English. The citation, when you paraphrase, you actually deliver in a language, okay, in a language that is used as the delivery medium. So in our case it is in English. So normally in that case you don't quote, you actually perhaps paraphrase, so meaning that what is the meaning of what that person said. For example, let's say I give you one example. We have our Menteri Agama, or Dr. Zulkifli Al-Bakri. He said something about Islam or something, in Malay. Okay, so in Malay, and let's say the documents are in Malay, and you want to cite what he said. Okay, what he said in Malay. So you need to actually paraphrase. You shouldn't quote, because in our case, what is the meaning of what he said, and paraphrase it. Paraphrase it. Okay, use your own words. Okay, use your own words to actually take in what are the important things that you want to retain in what he said. Okay, and put this in your own words in English. So that is considered paraphrasing. Okay, that is considered paraphrasing. Okay, did I answer your question?
Yes. Thank you for.
I'm sorry if I do not actually, if I misunderstood you. Please tell me, because sometimes I think, oh, this is what you mean, but sometimes yeah, I misunderstood. But please, anyone, please tell me if you ask something then I misunderstood your question. Please tell me. Okay, do not worry also, and I will not scold you because of that. Okay, any question on this plagiarism? Okay, so most of the time you will actually paraphrase. Okay, you do not need to paraphrase the whole document, but perhaps some part, one sentence or a section of a particular paragraph, so you paraphrase that. Okay, any question on this? Okay, now the third part is what we call summarizing. Okay, summarizing is giving the main ideas of another source in your own words. Okay, this one, this is actually slightly different from paraphrase. Paraphrase is actually, you actually try to retain all the main ideas, But for summarizing, you select what are the things that you want to take from this, not everything. So you summarize, or you give in general, or perhaps you just pick something from that. That is summarizing. Okay, we will see this example. Now, this is the same original passage, the Tim Berners-Lee and the World Wide Web, the same passage just now. Now, how do we summarize this? Depends on what you need. Okay, depends on what you need. Okay, now example. First example. Acceptable summary. You see, Tim Berners-Lee established the World Wide Web in the early 1990s. You see, this is a summary, meaning that I just focus on who established the World Wide Web, when. I did not mention about the lab. I did not mention on to the easily accessed cross-reference document. Okay, I do not mention Geneva, Switzerland. You can see. You see, this is an acceptable summary. Another example. Now, from the same passage, the European Laboratory for Particle Physics, CERN, in Geneva, Switzerland, is the birthplace of the World Wide Web. You see, this is like I take part of it and I put in my own words, but all the information here comes from the passage. You see, I did not add anything here. Everything you can find from the passage, but it is very selective and I actually structure the sentence in my own words. Second one, talking about the lab. We do not talk about Tim Berners-Lee, and we do not talk about when. We do not talk about the to access documents. You see, just focusing on the lab in Switzerland is where it all started. This is another example of summary. Another one. Now you can see that, you see, Gosling, 2010. This is narrative. The first two examples are parenthetical. This one is narrative. Why? Because the citation is part of the sentence. Okay. So Gosling, 2010, describes how the World Wide Web originated from an effort to allow easy document sharing on a computer network. Now here, this one, I focus on the effort to allow easy document sharing on the network. So I do not focus on when, I do not focus on who, I do not focus on where. Okay, you can see. So basically, you can see that from the same passage, there are many ways for you to do a summary. So basically, what I expect for you, okay, is that you have some paraphrasing, you have some summary, and if you there is a definition or something that you want to retain word by word, okay, it must be very special for you to retain. Normally, you retain sometimes you definition like or certain cache word, okay. So basically you use code, but the rest of it, most of the things that you will find in publication, it is either paraphrasing and it is, or also it is summary. So when you check, okay, when you write in your paragraph, sometimes this within the same paragraph there will be paraphrasing. You will combine that with some summary is combined, and you, when you check for the plagiarism, you check the paragraph. You check the paragraph, or perhaps if the section allows it, so you can check the whole. For example, introduction. You have 3 paragraphs, so the 3 paragraphs you copy and paste into the tool. So if it is not more than 1,000 words, then it is okay. See, if it's more than 1,000 words, you have to pay, subscribe. Okay, which is something that I do not want you to do. Okay, so basically, this is a summary, and you can see that a summary is actually easier to do compared to paraphrase. Remember, paraphrase, you have to retain all the main points, all the main ideas, all. You cannot take out something that is important. But for summary, you can choose to retain only certain things. Some things you, I do not want to include this because for this I do not use this. So that is a summary. So that is the difference between summary and paraphrase. Paraphrase retains all the main important points or ideas in that particular passage. But summary, you can be selective in what you want to take. The only thing that you cannot change things. Okay, you have to retain the original meaning. You cannot say that here it says 1990s and suddenly you in your thing you say that, oh, this is year 2000. That is being changed. Okay, perhaps here it does not mention about security, and suddenly in your summary you go and add, oh, security is a secure World Wide Web. Then that is wrong. Why? Because where does it mention in the original passage secure? There's no mention of this. Okay, that does not say that secure. It's more of accessibility, not security. So although it is true, it is secure, but because the passage does not mention that, you cannot add that. So if you want to add secure, you need to look for other reference that says secure. So you can combine this one and another one. You combine, for example, you can combine one sentence or one paragraph. You have multiple references because you have several ideas you want to combine together. Okay, so okay, do you understand the difference between summary and paraphrase? Okay, any question on this? Any question? Okay, good. So now, okay, here, just to highlight, all the examples that I've given, Gosling and so on, all involve one author. So meaning that one article, there is only one author. But in many cases, especially research, you do not do it alone. You have your gang, okay? You have your group. There will be multiple authors publishing one article. It is similar like you do this assignment, two per person. Two per group. So the outcome is A and B. That is 2%. If there is 4%, A, B, C, and D. So you share. So these examples are all single author articles. So how do we actually deal if there is multiple authors? Okay, for this I'm going to go quite fast. So I hope that you can read from the slides. Okay, try to look into the differences. So I'm just going to cover just to highlight certain things, but the detail you should actually do it on your own. Okay, now here is actually this is using APA. Okay, how do you actually cite article with multiple authors but from the same source? Okay, for example, you have the first one. Okay, there is one author. You have narrative parenthetical. So this is the narrative. This is the parenthetical. This is example. For example, here in the narrative, this is the same. Like Mohtar 2007 states. Why states? Because Mohtar is one person. So this is like singular. States that. So this is in narrative. Or parenthetical in Malaysia. Okay, this is the end of the sentence. Have Mohtar, 2007, bracket, you see this full stop. So this is one author. So this is the examples that you have before. Now, what if you have two authors? Two person in one article. Okay, you have narrative. See, let's say two person, Mohtar and Brohi. Brohi is actually my PhD students a long time ago from Pakistan. Okay, so Mohtar and Brohi, so N, A and D, because this is part of the sentence, you must use A and D. You cannot use ampersand. You cannot use this one because this is part of the sentence. So N is A and D. Mohtar and Brohi, let's say 2010, state that, see state, because this is two person, this is plural. So it cannot be states. It's state because it is in English. This is considered plural. State that. Okay, what about parenthetical? We have in Malaysia. So let's say this is the end of the sentence. In Malaysia, bracket, Mohtar. Okay, here, this is and the symbol. The ampersand. This is ampersand. They call ampersand. Brohi. So if this is parenthetical, see, everything encapsulated in bracket, you must use ampersand. You cannot use A and D. And if this is part of the sentence, you must use A and D. Cannot use ampersand. This is common mistakes. Okay. For 3 to 5 authors, let's say you have 3 to 5 authors. Let's say this is a big group for one article. Okay, there is what we call the first and subsequent. Okay, now. This is first, subsequent. Okay, first meaning that the first time you use in your writing, this is how it is done. This is subsequent. Subsequent is that the second time the third time, the fourth time, and so on. So this is the way it is done. Okay. Okay. Now, first, if it is 3 to 5 authors, you must list the name of the authors. For example, Mohtar, comma, alias, and Abdullah, 3 authors. So if there is 4 authors, Mohtar, comma, alias, comma, Abdullah, comma, Razak. For example, 4 authors. So you must list, comma, and use N. It's like a word. Okay, this is narrative 2006, state that, and something. Okay, now, that is the first time, the first occurrence when you use in your article. But if you have used that one, suddenly, in a later paragraph, you want to use this again, the same article again, in a different part of your writing. So you do not have to list again, but you use Mohtar, take the first author. This is at et.al dot, at all. Now, at all is in Latin, means and others. So, meaning Mohtar et al, meaning it means Mohtar and others. So, others is that alias, Abdullah, and so on. So, for the second time and above, if in the same article, you do not repeat this, just Mohtar et al. Okay, now, similar if you use parenthetical, the first time, for example, the first time if you use in the item, the article in Malaysia, you have Mohtar, comma, alias, and ampersand, Abdullah. So you have 3 authors, for example. You have to list first time. But after that, if you happen to use this again, you want to use the parenthetical subsequent, you have Mohtar, comma, et al. Okay, Mohtar et al. Okay, I think this is a mistake. Okay, it's Mohtar et al. There's no comma here. Sorry, Mohtar et al. So I will correct this in the slides. Okay, Mohtar et al. There is a mistake here. Sorry, there's no comma here. Mohtar et al. Dot, then comma 2006. Okay, this is 3 to 5. Okay, now if the authors are 6 or more, meaning there are many people. So whether it is first time or second time or third time or how many times, you start off with Mohtar et al. No need to list Mohtar, alias, Abdullah, Abu Bakar, Omar, Osman, Ali, and so on until more than 6. No need. Go on Mohtar et al. And in the parenthetical, Mohtar et al. So meaning that this is for the first time and beyond. So doesn't mean, okay, this is different, 6 to 3 to 5. So this is something that you have to do. Okay, now, just to highlight, when you use narrative, when you use the citation tool, you cannot actually, citation tool will allow for only parenthetical type. For example, yes, they can do this like this, but how do you get like this? This one you have to type. You have to type manually. Okay? So if you think that it is leceh or it's difficult for you to do, stick to parenthetical. Do not use narrative. Okay? If you use narrative, this one you have to type. But in the case, for example here, parenthetical, 3 to 5 authors. You see, 3 authors. Okay, if you use the citation tool, it automatically will give Mohtar et al., which is incorrect. So you need to look if for any tool, so the first occurrence, you cannot have Mohtar et al. If it is 3 to 5 authors. You need to actually, so what you do, you need to type this manually. You cannot automatically insert using the citation tool. So these are the things that you need to be aware of. What are the things that you can use automatically, and what when you need to type in things. Okay. Okay, now if you have group authors, for example, United Nations, let's say United Nations, you are referring to a report by United Nations, and you do not know who the authors are because it's just say United Nations. So for you to use, let's say the first example, this is narrative. For if narrative, the first occurrence, you actually write incomplete United Nations bracket UN, comma 2010 states that. So this is the first occurrence. And if, let's say, the second occurrence and beyond, okay, if you use the same article in the same document, you do not have to type in United Nations, just UN 2010. So this is second, third, fourth, and so on. The first time, United Nations. UN is in the bracket. Okay, if you use parenthetical, okay, this is how you do it. This is the format, and so on. Okay, so this is in general how to cite using APA. So you see, there is things that you need to learn. Okay, you need to. This is a learning process. I hope that that's why I ask you for the assignments, at least 5, if I'm not mistaken. But I do not expect to have like so many citations, like 20 or 30, and so on. Okay, so if you have like 5 to 10, then I would be happy with your work. Okay, but this is example of citation, and in the assignment, I want you to use APA. Okay, now this is similarly, we have IEEE. Is quite different. We have 1 author, 2 authors, 3 or more. They now I think in terms of IEEE is more simple compared to APA in terms of how to cite, whether narrative or parenthetical. So this one I will not detail out, so you can look spend your own time, try to understand in general. So these are some of the important things that I would like to highlight, because I see many people do not understand all this. So basically, when they actually write the papers, it is wrong, including that some of the papers that have been published. Okay, they actually do not quite understand how to do it. So I'm teaching you how to do it properly. Okay, any question on this? Okay, any question on this? Okay, so actually the detail is in the reference module. For example, there is a guide by IEEE and APA, and also in internet also there are some information. So this I share some of the things that I highlight to be common mistakes by people. Okay, any question on this? Okay, now I think we are coming towards the end, and you can see that okay, now we have, if you have one part but citing multiple sources, so meaning that there are many people saying the same thing, and you decide to add everything, so every one of them. So this is how you do it. But then I will be asking, why do you want to add so many authors here? Just choose one, perhaps. It's not important to highlight, oh, A, B, C, D, E, F, G all say the same thing. But here, just to show that if you have multiple authors, okay, this is parenthetical. You can see that you separate with a semicolon. You see, this is all in one bracket. Mohta, comma 2007. This is one author. Semicolon. Propis 1989. You see, this is another author. Semicolon. If you have 2 authors, Ferrer and ampersand Korea, comma 1990, semicolon. So meaning that you separate this using semicolon, but retain one set of parentheses or brackets. Okay, if you are narrative, similarly, you can see many authors including blah 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 blah. This is the way you write. This is different. Mohta bracket 2007, comma Propis 1989, comma, and so on. So you list and so on, have defined, so and so on. So this is narrative. For IEEE, because you are referring to just numbers, so for example, if the number, let's say just now Mokhtar 2007 is like number 5, so you can put in 5 comma, okay, if 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 and 17, it is in one sequence, you can put 9 to 17. Okay, if it is separated 5 and 9 is not continuous, there is in middle 6, 7, 8 not included here, so you can use a comma. Okay, a comma. So this is IEEE. Okay, this is narrative, so you can actually use a combination of the names here like this, or perhaps just like this, like 5 comma 9 to 17. Many authors including 5, you don't mention the name of the author. Yes, this is also acceptable. Or if you choose to mention, for example here, Mokhtar, you want to mention the name Mokhtar. Okay, you can put Mokhtar 5, Propis, Ferrer and Korea, because this is narrative, you have A and D, 10. And others, this one you do not want to mention, you can actually combine this. Okay, so this is also acceptable. So this is citing from multiple sources. Okay, so basically I think that it's it from what I want to share within our lesson. Actually all the work actually reference, most of the reference are based on my work, previous work, so there's no credit to others, so this is all my work. So basically this is something that it does not comprehensively cover everything, but some of the important things that I hope that you can learn. Okay, any questions on this?
Prof,
Yes.
I have two questions.
Yes.
For the first part, if we like have the same, if we usually we cite the source, cite our work with our using each sentence, right? But how about we cite for each paragraph? Like how can we cite for a paragraph?
Okay, so basically,
from the same source.
okay, let's say, okay, I do not have example here, but let me show you. Just hopefully I can share example later on. Okay, now if for example you have one paragraph, within one paragraph, let's say sentence 1 and 2 from reference number 1. Okay, sentence 3 is from reference number 2, meaning that there are 2 references within one paragraph. Let's say your paragraph, there are 3 sentences. Okay, so what you do is that, let's say you want to use parenthetical, you don't want to use reference, let's say parenthetical. Okay, parenthetical is like this, okay, meaning that at the end. So meaning that what you can do is that you have first sentence, full stop, second sentence, okay, second sentence. So at the end of the second sentence, before the full stop, you put in the first citation. Okay, because 1 and 2 comes from the same author, same article. So sentence 1 and 2, so meaning that at the end of the second sentence, before the full stop, you put in the bracket. Okay, you put in this one. Okay, now the third sentence is based on a different article. So you start the third article, and at the end of the we start at the third sentence, and at the end of the third sentence, before the full stop, you put the second reference. So that is, if you have in one paragraph, you have more than one reference, meaning that sentence 1 and 2 from reference number 1, and sentence number 3 is from reference number 2. So you put like that. Okay, what if you have 2 paragraphs, and these two paragraphs are from the same reference, meaning that you have, let's say, Mohtar 2007, that is a reference, but you have paragraph number 1 also from Mohtar, paragraph number 2 also from Mohtar, and each paragraph there are several sentences. So meaning that how you cite is that in the first paragraph, so at the end of the statement, the last sentence in the first paragraph before the full stop, you put in Mohtar, 2007, close bracket. So open bracket, Mohtar, 2007, close bracket, full stop. So meaning that it is at the end of the paragraph, the first paragraph, before the full stop. Okay, now you start second paragraph. Now, the second paragraph also refers to Mohtar. So, because there is a gap between paragraph, it's like terputus. Okay, there is a break of content because of different paragraph. So, meaning that although paragraph number 2 also cites from Mohtar 2007, so you have to do it again, meaning that you have to go the paragraph number 2, and at the end of the sentence that you refer from Mohtar 2007 before the full stop, you need to put the citation Mohtar 2007. So meaning that if there is a break between paragraphs, okay, you need to put a citation, because you cannot just put once and it will sort of, oh, paragraph 2 also, 3 also, 4 also, you just put one time. That's not sufficient. So each paragraph, because when there is a break, you need to put in the citation. Okay, do I answer you? If I do not answer you, what I will do is that I will actually prepare supplementary example, okay, meaning additional example for you to actually to look into. So this is how it is done if this is the case. Okay, any question?
Yes, Prof. I understand for that question. I have another question.
Okay.
For the assignment part, can I use the Mendeley because my Microsoft has been integrated with the another tool which is called Mendeley. Can I use that tool?
Okay, if you use Mendeley, okay, even if you use Mendeley, still it's no problem. Still I want you to submit the Microsoft Word, because the Mendeley is actually embedded, okay, incorporated the Mendeley tool as a plugin. Okay, so basically what I want to see actually Microsoft Word is that I want to see that you have used a certain tool. Okay, it's not like I don't want it like to be manually done. Some people they copy and paste, so which is not correct. So it's okay if you use Mendeley. Okay, you use Mendeley uh, as a plug-in tool into Microsoft Word. So basically, when you submit to me in the Microsoft Word, still the plugin would be accessible to me. So hopefully that is the case. But if that is not the case, I will come back to you to see how I can have a look, because actually previously students complain a lot about Mendeley. Okay, but that's why I choose not to include Mendeley, because you need to install and so on. But if you can use Microsoft Word in total, that would be good. But if you choose to use Mendeley, so I think I don't see any problem with this. Okay. Any question?
Okay, thank you, Prof.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you, Prof.
Any question? Anyone else? Okay. Let me recap again. So basically, what I want you to do for the assignment. Okay. So basically, assignment. I expect that for you have part 1, you have introduction, project background, and problem statement. Okay. Basically, I expect there will be citations to references. So basically, in doing that, you need to comply with whether there is a code, but code must be very minimal if only it is suitable. So even if you do it correctly, but I see that there's no reason for you to code, you shouldn't code. Okay, that is number 1. So I expect the rest to be like paraphrase, and paraphrase, and also summary. Okay, but of course in your paragraph, basically, because when you define, there are something of your view. So fine, if you can add your own view, or this is what you think. It's not from the literature, because yeah, because you want to justify something. That's why I want to do this application and so on. Sometimes it's your view, so there's no citation for that. Okay, if it is your view. So but for the rest, because you want to, your view must be supported by something, so this something must be cited from literature. So basically, I expect most of you will use largely paraphrasing and also summary. And for this part, okay, for citation, please use Microsoft Word citation tool. So when you submit your document, the Microsoft Word document, what I will do is that I am going to check the part for the citation, whether this is generated by the tool or not, and so on, to see you do it correctly. That is number one. So in addition to the proposal is in PDF, you need to submit the Microsoft Word document, because I want to check the use of the tool, and also for part 1, 2 and 3, which is actually the introduction, the project background, and problem statement. So I expect you to use the plagiarism checker based on the tool that I have explained just now. I do not want any other tool, because I want to use this tool. Okay, because to be consistent, and I think this tool is more thorough, because some of the tools, even they say there's no plagiarism, but it is actually plagiarism. So please use this tool, and you need to actually generate the PDF report, and you need to submit together the PDF report for the 3 parts. So meaning that if you have introduction, you have 1 report. Problem statement, you have 1 report. And for the introduction, 1 report. You have the project background, 1 report. And you have the problem statement is another report. So I need 3 reports. But for some reason, if for example you find that for each part is more than 1,000 words, meaning that the tool cannot process, that's the maximum for the free account. You are using this for free. So basically, you need to split according to paragraphs. So meaning that if there is 3 paragraphs or 4 paragraphs, perhaps 2 paragraph 1 report, another 2 paragraph another report. Okay, if that is the case. But if that is not the case, I expect that you have introduction 1 report, a project background 1 report, and problem statement 1 report. Okay, so basically you need to submit the PDF report. Then, and I expect, okay, I consider that if you can achieve 30% or less plagiarism, okay, then that would be very good. That would be good. Okay, 31 to 50. Okay, I accept your submission. Okay, but I will reduce the marks in terms of plagiarism. Okay, I will reduce the marks. Anything above 50, okay, you get 0 from that. Regardless of whatever you write, you get 0 for that section. Anything above 50, it is a 0. Okay. Even you that get less than 30 doesn't mean that you get full mark. Okay, remember, because I will still look into the quality of the sentence. Is your sentence convincing? Is the grammar correct? Okay, and also there is a grammar checker. You can use the grammar checker to actually check your grammar and so on. Okay, so basically these are the things that actually you need to include in the assignment. So that's why the assignment is 40%, 40, a lot of marks. It's like a final exam, this one. Okay, so basically we have 40% first, later on then we have a smaller components. Okay, any question on this? Okay, any question? Okay, if not, okay, all the best to you. So I hope that there is good progress among the groups. Please do not wait until last minute, because um, I think it will bite you back if you wait. And these things are not so easy. Writing a proposal is easy, but to get a quality proposal is not so easy. It needs work, and for you to come up with a good work, you need time. Okay, paraphrasing is not easy. It's not easy. Okay, all the best to you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. So if you have anything to ask, you can actually ask through our WhatsApp group. Or if the things that you want to ask is very personal in nature, you can do it personally. Send me your you can WhatsApp me personally, and I will look into your case. Perhaps someone will complain that, oh, I'm a member of two, but the other one does not do anything, do not contribute. So please inform me that if I find that is true, I'll give a 0 mark to your partner. So meaning that I consider this is a work from one person, not from a group. Say, although it is you are in the group. Okay? Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. So I will publish this very soon.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you, sir.
Salam. Thank you,
Okay,
Prof.
welcome.
Thank you very much.